Forbes.com, the amount of student debt owed by Americans is at $1.45 trillion, and it's still climbing every single day. The majority of us in this classroom need to, or already have, come up with ways to rid ourselves of money needed to pay for school, and we need to come up with alternative methods other than our income to pay for tuition and all the costs associated with school. And in the in-class survey, 8 out of 12 of you said you will all graduate with debt. So the cost of public universities should be significantly lowered or eliminated so that graduates have less to worry about as soon as they graduate and can focus on other things such as starting their lives. After extensive research, and as a student who will most likely have student debt as soon as I complete my education toward my goal of career, I've come up with a few pros and cons on free college tuition and want to present them to you all today. So I'd like to talk to you about lowering the facts of student debt, the pros on eliminating student debt, and arguments against lowering the cost of public universities. So debt is crushing graduates in America. As I mentioned earlier, the amount of student debt was recorded at $1.45 trillion. And according to student.org, the amount of student debt America gains every second is $2,858. And also the average amount of student debt per person in 2017 was $37,172. According to Forbes.com, the amount of student debt is 6% of the overall national debt, which at the time the article was written in 2013 was $16.7 trillion. But the U.S. debt clock shows that the national debt is now roughly at $20.5 trillion, and the student debt is now at $1.5 trillion, which is still roughly 6% of the national debt. And since 1980, there has been a 344% increase in average tuition costs from $2,119 in public universities to $9,410. Many students are leaving the United States to other countries because they simply have cheaper tuition costs. The Washington Post states that college is free in Finland, Denmark, Ireland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Mexico, and Germany, where it's free for also international students. And in 2015, BBC News reported that more than 4,600 American students are attending German universities. And students going to other countries trying to escape debt also add to the brain drain, which is where highly intelligent and skilled people leave the countries. That's mostly a problem in developing countries. So now that you know some of the figures on student debt, let's look at some of the benefits on why college tuition needs to be lowered. There are many pros with eliminating high tuition costs in the United States, and one being that quality of life would improve. More people would be likely to attend college, and more people would be likely to, with that comes with more people likely being able to get better paying jobs. And a survey in which 3,000 Americans were asked questions by CNBC showed that 80% of working professionals had significant stress on repaying student debt. People are more likely to choose a career they're actually interested in, which could lead to more people being happy, and people most likely choose careers that they actually want to pursue other than just focusing on the salary. And so also students and their parents could be more relaxed if students can choose a career with a salary that's not as high as something such as a doctor, because they wouldn't have to worry about paying thousands of dollars worth of debt. And so new graduates could contribute to the economy in different ways. With a lower amount of debt graduates would have, they would have more money to spend in the economy. If there are millions of Americans that come out of school and don't have to worry about paying $40,000, they could focus on buying houses or cars or travel, and they could stop putting their life on hold, and they could add to the economy. And just as everything else in the world, there are also some cons when it comes to lowering tuition costs for schools. There are many valid arguments on why college shouldn't be free. And the main argument is saying free college isn't free because the money has to come from somewhere. But most people suggest that the money would come from taxes, but obviously that idea is very unpopular because nobody wants to pay for debt that they didn't accumulate or benefit from. But one way was proposed by Senator Bernie Sanders, in which there would be a tax on Wall Street speculators that were responsible for the stock market crash in 2008. And there could also be repayment programs such as the Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program, which is where teachers who teach for 5 consecutive years in a low-income school are eligible for forgiveness of up to $17,500 on their federal loans. And another argument is that students will no longer value college education. And there should obviously be reasons on why we should want to keep students in school for free college, and that should be specific GPA requirements, making sure that America's getting their money's worth. And students should also have to be able to complete their degree in a reasonable amount of time, such as completing a bachelor's degree in 4 years, instead of students constantly changing their majors, probably give them the push to actually stay firm in what they want, since they don't have to worry about costs anymore. And to conclude, we have looked at why tuition costs at public universities should be significantly reduced and eliminated. I've talked about how much debt the nation has and how it's affecting us, the pros and cons of making tuition free, and the arguments against free college. And to end, I'd like to say that students will still learn financial responsibility, because they'll still have to pay other bills, just they won't have to pay $40,000 worth of education debt, and as soon as they start their careers. Thank you.